Hello everyone, and welcome back to Stationeers. Today we're back at continuing to develop our base and get ready to go out and explore for um, a new place to settle. So last time we had kind of reviewed the changes to the gas update. So all of our gas mixtures and things have changed. Volatiles are no more. Now we have methane and hydrogen as our two kind of main volatile gases. We set up filtration for our hydrogen. I can't see it from where I'm at. And then we also connected our coolant loop to our atmosphere cooling. So you can see our tank temperature is progressively dropping here as we get closer to our like 30 degrees main tank temperature. And then if we head on out, pressurize. How's this doing? We've got some space, got more somewhere around here. It's a bunch of yeah, there we go, reagent mix to filter out. But over here, I guess this is just far enough away that it doesn't get charged. There we go. We removed our H2 generator because it's not going to work where it currently is. This is still processing through. We had a bunch of nitrogen in there, so we've collected quite a bit of nitrogen. In fact, we have an entire, almost explodey Mark II gas tank and another 2 megapascals in another one. So that's nice. How do we get... Oh, that's right. There's always been a little bit of CO2 in our oxygen supply. So 7.1 megapascals of O2 collected from our basic farm. So we had kind of mostly fixed our gas situation last time. So we started filtering out hydrogen from the atmosphere because the exterior atmosphere has just a little bit, 5% hydrogen now. But we didn't do anything with it. So the reason we started filtering out hydrogen is because the only way to get water now, there are other ways, but the main way to get water is to burn hydrogen with oxygen, which gives you water. Because if we actually just go to water, our interior combustion system uses methane, CH4. So methane with oxygen, regular old oxygen, don't do anything. We would need methane with ozone, which is O3, to get just a little bit of water. Whereas if we do hydrogen and oxygen, we get a clean burn to water. Which is, much more that we want. Technically, it'd be even better if we used ozone. 3 hydrogen, 1 ozone gives us 4 water. But we'll take our regular recipe of hydrogen, oxygen mixed in a 2-to-1 ratio gives us H2O. So we never set that portion of it up. So technically, if we want to do this correctly... Oh, this thing is full. We'll deal with that in a bit. I'm just going to turn it off now. If we want to do this properly, we need to run a line from our oxygen storage here to wherever we're going to set up our water filtration. So we have a filter unit here. We have this all set up with cooling and everything. So it feels like a bit of a shame to not just use that since it's all already here and functional. But we do have this little bit of empty space here that we could set up just for hydrogen. And we just plummet into our waste tank there. So we could even cut off our fuel tank or fuel line like right here and just send another waste line straight down through here. So I think we might do that instead of setting it up outside. For that, we're going to need another portables connector. We need our portable tank Mark II. So it's getting to be nighttime out. Let's set up some more pipes to print. And head on outside. I do hope everyone's having a wonderful day today. I'm having a good time. Just making some videos, getting things all ready. That's still unhappy as all hell. I hope this isn't gonna explode. We've maintained liquid volume, which is really good to know. It's good that we've maintained the liquid's volume because why is this running? Or is it running? Is it not? It shouldn't be, because the temperature should be so low that it never triggers that code. But because we've increased the heat load on this is why the pressure is increased, I think. So this is working harder. It's evaporating more, which is causing the pressure in here to increase, which is in turn causing the pressure in here to increase. We should probably set up like an emergency purge valve where when it gets above a certain amount, it just starts venting to atmosphere, but honestly, it's probably okay. We have these running as well, so these are all collecting our various gases. How much hydrogen have we collected? Not that much, unfortunately. So if we build our... Oh, that's a Mark 1. I don't want a Mark 1. We don't need to use Mark 1 stuff anymore, so let's bring that back inside and make a better one. Oh, they have a lot of pipes now, too. Since we got that started before we headed out, we can feed this to the recycler. I should also really set up that stacker. Portable gas tank Mark II. We're going to need a mixing valve as well. All right. See how much hydrogen we can get out of our system here. Turn you on. $610 liter or 6,000 and 110 liters. That's kind of an interesting capacity. We're just going to let that fill for a bit. Glad to see we have a lot more CO2. Our CH4, we're getting to the point where we're going to have too much soon. This is set as 30 kilopascals. So we may actually want to set up a override so we can bypass this once we have, like, more than we're reasonably going to need of our methane here. Okay, yeah, that's getting concerningly high pressure, actually. Because 5 is where it will start to do damage. Perhaps we turn off our system here. If we just turn that off and then turn that off, it'll stop intaking new liquid. Got almost 3,000 liters of liquid pollutants. Which would be devastating if this exploded. Let's just be clear. So let's vent a little pressure off. Alright. And it's immediately going to spike back up.
Waste tank critical.
Oh, crap. Forgot about that. Well, let's just hope it's fine. I'm sure it'll be alright. We're building another base anyway. If this one explodes, well, hopefully we have enough stuff to build another base. I wish there was a way to set the waste tank to be at a higher pressure, because this gas can take much higher pressures. So if the warning would happen later on, that would be very nice. Technically, we should reroute this to over there, because we don't need to be pumping CO2 back into our room anymore from our waste tanks. What was I doing? Oh, yeah. We were working on a spot for our H2 combustor. think if we slot it in right about here, that'll do. Oops. There we go. Then if we grab our wrench, deconstruct that, construct that, switch that to an angled pipe. We also need to rework this. Let's just kind of do this real quick because this is all a mess over here. Okay. That should. So that's allowing flow in both directions, which is not what we actually want. So we need a liquids volume pump. Which will draw the liquid out, which is what we want. We have it. We do have one. Now, to do this, we're going to need power here, which is going to make this area even more cramped. So let's also just kind of remove some of this stuff. We're going to need our wire cutters, some cable coils. So now, if we check this, the liquids volume should be decreasing. Liquid volume in here is increasing. This is supposed to be air conditioning this to cold. So this is getting cooled now properly. That's filling up with water, which is what we want. Awesome. So this, I think, is now actually working. It's scavenging the last little bit of water from this. Because there's enough pressure in there, it's going to stay liquid instead of turning back into steam, which is good. That's what we want. And this is getting chilled down even more by our air conditioning loop. This is how we should have set this up to begin with. Okay. Small improvements all the time. All right. Now for this, we can cover some wiring that we don't need to waste. We're not going to logic these. These are always just going to be either on or off. So just going to leave them on. And then we need to run this pipe, which we're going to run. Actually, we're going to... Nope, gotta run it like this. It's just going to be a little bit janky. Nope. It doesn't matter if this is all... Yeah, there we go. Cool. So now we have our H2 combustor. And we've got... it... Alright, I guess it's just called the combustor now. It's not the H2 combustor anymore. We've got it wired up. Now we just need to get a gas mix to it. And it'll go back into our existing filtering system, which is not doing so hot. All right. Let's just replace all of these that need it. We also should probably print new filters for the outside. So we're going to need portables connectors because we're going to run this with... let's get our gas mixing valve first. So we need to mix oxygen and hydrogen. Let's also get a utility kit because I want to have a little bit of a buffer here. We actually need 2 of these, and these don't have to be insulated because our interior is just vacuumed out anyway. Although we are going to still use insulated pipes because it's what I made. That's the orientation that I wanted in. All right, and then our oxygen is going to come around. How are we going to route this? We only have one access point to it right now, so let's Is there any pipes outside here? There is not immediately. So we're going to go straight off from here. I really hope that I'm seeing this correctly. There's nothing until we get to here. So I'm going to go up one. Dang it. Dang it. Then we're going to go over. All right. Just make sure. Yep, just oxygen. That's just a smidge of CO2. Now we get to go straight across. In fact, we're going to continue going straight. And we're going to plummet into our furnace, because I'm kind of tired of having to turn this on and off, or to pressurize this with little tiny cylinders. We're going to want to leave room where we can do this for the... It's going to get messy. Add a valve in so we can turn it off and we don't need it. This is going to be quite the area to walk around. Can I put a valve here? No. It's too close. Alright, well, I guess we didn't need to do this jog over, after all. There we go. Now let's go grab some water. Now there is a lot of iron in there. Some water. How's our plants doing? We already collected the seeds from these. I remember we have this random guff in here. I think we should probably tear some of it apart or something. I don't know. It's fine for now. All right, and then we need a portables connector. Oh, this stacker is going to be pretty useless after this. Whoops. Okay, so now we have O2 and H2, a mixer, a storage tank, and a combustor. That does work. So now if we go back outside, oh, we have to configure this first. So the ratio, the correct ratio is 2 to 1. So that would be 33.3% oxygen to whatever percentage hydrogen. I wonder why this is on right now. That mixture looks all kinds of whack. Hopefully it still works. I know temperature does come into this because theoretically density can be a problem. And if we wanted this to be a perfectly clean burn, then we should equalize the temperature between the two, which I guess theoretically we could. It wouldn't be that difficult. We just need a radiator between... Are we even refrigerating our oxygen right now, or is it just, like, hot? We aren't. I guess we can. We have our refrigerant right here. How did we even charge this? Did we just connect it for a second? We could refrigerate it. Probably be good for the long run to get our oxygen down to a more usable temperature. I guess I should. I forgot we had chutes as well. Maybe this is the episode of small improvements to the base. We finally set up a stacker for this stupid stuff. Let's make 2 radiators. Or heat exchangers, not radiators. Or steel. Luckily, I have lots of steel right now. Will I need more? Certainly. But I do have a lot right now. All right. So we want to do some heat exchanging. Can put I think we're gonna have to move this stacker in the long run. I do not see it staying there. Oh, there's some silicon in it. Nice. Is the same cooking temperature? Yeah, we'll just make that in silicon real quick. Probably have some advanced alloy in there. No, I didn't. Okay, good. But I just messed up. Okay. Wire cutters. All right. Heat exchanger 1. Honestly, we can just do heat exchanger 2. So this one, we come up, over, The spaghetti must grow. This feels very spaghetti-ified. What's our power situation going? It seems to be all right. I will say it was very nice on Mars not having to worry so much about the temperature of everything all of the time. Would this have probably been fine? Yeah, but let's do it right, theoretically. How much of a difference will this actually make? I have no idea, but we probably should charge this with a little bit more pollutant now because the pressure is quite low. But now our temperature of our O2 should be kind of dropping off a little bit. Closer to our requested. I think this is set at... Well, I have no clue because I can't see it, but I think it's 16 C. And when we bring in our pressure tank, which hopefully it'll get night to be nighttime here soon, and we can bring that in. So there we go. Let's do our labeler real quick. So this is input 2, that's input 1, the gas mix. What is the... which one is which? Let's do 30, 33.333, confirm. Input 1 is 33.3. We want it to be the other way around, so 66.6666666 repeating. So we want 2 hydrogen for every 1 oxygen. So input 2, 33.3, input 1, 66.7. That looks correct. Wow, that temperature is dropping fast. Nice. It's still toasty outside. Still no storms since we've set this up. I have no clue if it actually works. I think... No, we did have the one storm, didn't we? I do thank Balin in my Discord chat for sending me a... Okay, that much improved weather station script that actually can communicate to my suit. I didn't realize that was a thing, but with the logic transmitter, apparently you can play sound alerts in your suit, which is very nice to know. Should probably just... Is this empty? Like, completely empty? Yeah, we should take this outside and just fill it up out there. Wrench. And then we can just... It's still quite toasty out. Starting to come down. Well, maybe not. It's kind of noon-ish right now. So this will be water reacquired for the second time. with the new gas systems. Oh, I forgot. I was going to make. We need N2 and O2 filters. Not that that O2 filter ever gets used. We need these two. Jeez, those are low, low, low. All right, let's make 4 O2 filters. So many more filters. Should probably make some fresh filters for my suit as well. N2 filters. How are these ones doing? Those are pretty much dead. Now we filtered everything, or we dumped it all outside. I don't know which, but fresh filters in there. Those are still fine. Need a bunch of CO2 filters. Probably need new filters outside as well for CO2. So new filters across the board. These ones are for the outside. Let's get some new CH4 filters as well. So methane. Don't need pollutant filters because we use fractional distilling for that. And I'm sure the hydrogen filters are still fine. We just made those. So that's all the filters we should need. What else was I doing? Temperature is coming down quite nicely, actually. Or reagents, jeez. Oh, sun's starting to go down, so we should be good to go here momentarily to head outside and grab all of our stuff. Oh, that's what I was going to do while I was waiting. We are going to disconnect this. One more piece of pipe. Guess we don't actually need that one anymore. So now we grab our when we filter out CO2 from over here, and it'll get pushed back into our CO2 supply. Yay! Alright, it's cold enough to head outside. Okay, let's see. So let's see how much methane, or not methane. I know we've collected a whole bunch of methane. How much? Alright, I'm not gonna recycle this one. Bye! Hydrogen we've collected. A decent amount. How are you doing as well? Seems to be stable-ish. Temperature on this is still coming down progressively. We're dumping a lot of heat, which is good. How full are you? Almost to the point of being way more full than we need. This one's dead as well, so just eat that into the volcano. Literally, because that's what we can do now. Let's just eat things into the volcano. Grab our CO2 filters. So all of the filtration we've been doing, it's not actually been filtering anything out. It's just been... Well, I guess it's been filtering out methane, but that's it. There we go. Now we're actually collecting more CO2. What is your... Yours is also set high, but this might start to condense at some point. Although it's still at 70, so it's probably not going to. We've still got plenty of pressure in the system, so we don't need to worry about drawing any extra in for a while. What I'm surprised about is that there's a lot of liquid pollutant that is not getting pulled through into here. Oh, we are also going to fill up our methane tank. So let's... You're full of methane, right? Yep. That's going to take a few minutes to fill. Disconnect you. Run this back inside. We have to redo the color standard for various gases now that there's a lot more. Yeah, this is all just going straight into there. What's not great about that is that means this isn't cooling, technically, because this requires pressure in here for this to actually start to equalize. $12, $13, how many moles is in there? Kilomole, or 3... Let's get 4 kilomoles, and then we'll pop it off and bring it inside. Oh, come on. There we go. giant, highly pressurized tank of explosive gases. Just gonna carry this like it's no problem. Our stationeer is ridiculously strong. To just be able to lug around gas tanks like this is quite crazy, actually. Door. Like, this would be heavy. Alright. You're full of hydrogen, right? Yep. Fasten you down, and now you should start quite quickly cooling off, honestly, and this will spike the temperature in here a little bit, but that's okay. O2's down to about 20. Nice. Let's get that back up to pressure for our furnace. This is coming down in temperature. Ideally, we should wait for this to be kind of, you know, equalized a little bit to the temperature over here. All right. And this is all set up now. Oh, we never wired that in. Whoops. So if we, I know this isn't technically down to the right temperature, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be all right. If we crack this open, we start getting a gas mix. We shut that off. How much O2 did that use? Not a ton. So 60 moles, 110 moles. So 1.7 megapascals. They use a good amount of hydrogen. Yeah, let's actually just make some more. We need water. It's not a perfect mixture, but it should still be combustible. A lot of that probably has to do with the temperature. We can see how much that's really affecting the mix rate. Then if we kick you on, we get some water. And yeah, it's not a perfect mix, but it's pretty dang close. At stupid high temperatures, which is expected. So that's coming into here. That's going to spike the absolute hell out of our pollutant duct. Just as we were saying, hey, we're increasing the thermal load and this is causing the pressure to rise out there, so
Hydration critical.
hopefully that doesn't result in a massive explosion. Maybe we should go check on that. I know my hydration's critical, but I'm kind of more worried about that at the moment, if I'm being honest. No, actually, things sound happy out here. We finally reached equilibrium. And things aren't threatening to explode. Did we need more thermal load? That actually might have been the case. We weren't pushing it hard enough, and it was... It's dumping heat, which is causing more evaporation, which I guess theoretically should decrease the temperature in here more, which pushes more into this pipe up here. Maybe we should add a gas reservoir to this pipe up here so that there's more of a gas spring to push against. Might be a good idea, actually. These things sound actually very pleasantly happy right now. But it's ridiculously hot. Well, let's keep it going then. Got plenty more. Should get an actually pretty decent amount of water out of this. Water filters are doing fine. Yeah, we'll just let that run for a minute. I'll grab some water, we'll check on it, and that'll be the end of this video. I think between videos, I'm going to do some exploring of our local area to find and see if there is what I'm looking for, which is an iron... Ideally like iron and coal, but definitely just iron at the very least. Spot somewhere out in the world. We can deconstruct this pipe cowl as well, because we don't need it just hanging out in space. And we can also deconstruct this pipe, because we don't need it hanging out in space either. What else is in here? We don't need this in here. Let's just clean up our environment just a smidge. It'd be great if we could do some genetic engineering to make our ferns even better, but we can get to that in the next base. We don't have near enough space here to do that, so... Still got plenty of fuel in there. This is still way too hot, but that's fine. So this is all getting processed. It does kind of feel bad to dump a bunch of hydrogen back out in the environment. Like, technically we have unlimited hydrogen, so doesn't feel bad enough to set up a scavenging system for it, because realistically we need nitrogen and oxygen more, slightly more, but more. And this is scavenging oxygen back from it. That's 260 moles, and we've just made another 220, so and there's still plenty more being made. That's down temperature now, so theoretically we could just kick that open and make a bunch more. How much capacity does this have? 790 liters? Alright, yeah, that's fine. Just fill it all one up. So this will have to cool down to a much more reasonable temperature before it starts condensing. So probably not going to condense any water out until we chew through all of our fuel. Yeah, almost 3,000 C. Or 2,300 C. Do some smelting off of this. That's some superheated steam. But our temperature, our cooling system seems to be tanking it like a champ. I think we can turn it off now. That's probably enough. We don't want to use up too much of our O2 just doing this. Five megapascals in there. Yeah, this is working out quite well. So hot. Jeez. A counterflow heat exchanger would be great on this because as it comes through, we could, you know, counterflow it with the cold pollutants, which would cool it down much more rapidly. But again, speed is not the goal here. So theoretically, not even just theoretically, this is fine. Got a bunch of gas to process. It's much more oxygen rich, which is interesting. So we are actually tapping off like it's such a small percentage because if you look like 99.2% water with just 0.2% being or 0.7% being oxygen, but it's not nothing. So I'm glad we're scavenging that back out. Also, if we were to dump it outside, it would be lighting on fire, which we don't want. So keeping our oxidizers contained is important. Actually, we should be very careful because this tank does have a lower burst pressure than this tank does. How did we notice that? Because this pressure is climbing, and this thing would have gone kablooey at a much. I think that only has like up to I don't know, 10 megapascals, I want to say. It's not making upset sounds right now. Kind of a little concerned about it, but it's going down in pressure. I don't have anywhere to put it. I guess theoretically we could take it inside and it might condense eventually.
Hunger caution.
Big old thermal battery. Yeah, pressure's going down. Eat a potato. So we're making some more water. We're back to where we were. We kind of neatened up some stuff in the base. We'll leave that in there for now. I'm sure I won't regret this. Pressurized gas canisters and me always get along the best. Yeah, we're burning off some oxygen and hydrogen, making water with the new recipe. But everything's working. We should probably reinstall our stacker somewhere. You know, preferably maybe over here. Somewhere. I'm really running out of space. That's the problem. So maybe not. Maybe we just bring this to the next station. But yeah, in between episodes, I'm going to head out. I'm going to do some browsing around the world with our mining deep miner cartridge to see if I can find the location of our next base. And I'll have to put a tracker down out there. So I'll make one of those and we'll see if we can start construction. I might sit and do some sketching of what I kind of want the next base to look like, because we're going to need a trading area, an atrium. I want it to be like a nice station. We're going to make a nice spot to live on Vulcan, not like a little hall closet like we live in right now. Some shutters, all kinds of nice stuff. So we'll get to that next time. But thank you all for watching. Thank you for support. The channel's still continuing to grow at an exponential rate, it feels like. So I'm been super happy. I can't wait to make more videos. Can't wait to continue this and make some other stuff as well. So if you have any ideas of other stuff you'd like to see me make videos of, just let me know down in the comments. And I'll take a look and see if it's something that I'm interested in, and maybe make a video on it. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.